Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti. Beautiful day here in South Florida. Temperature has actually been cool, and the humidity is down. Cool for us here in South Florida. We've got a fast main track, firm turf course, and of course, being Friday, you know what that means. We're going to have the Stronach 5 a little later on this afternoon, and of course, the Rainbow 6 with that $150,000 jackpot guarantee. So lots of action throughout the Friday afternoon with this 9-race card with all the early work ticking out. Let's get right into the Friday card. The first race, I love when it starts like this with these 2-year-olds on the turf. And this one's a 5-furlong turf maiden special weight for 2-year-olds. We did have a scratch in here of the number 1 horse who is a main track only. I went to the outside horse who's currently on the board at 3-5, and this is Castle, Leak. I actually looked it up. If you're an Outlander fan, apparently that's the Castle, and that's how you say it. I thought it was going to be Leo, but it's Leak. But besides that, it's a $220,000 Son of America Pharaoh, debuting for Wesley Ward with a string of really sharp turf workouts showing in preparation for the debut. Mario Pino will be in the saddle. If you like Wesley Ward, you got the horse right next door too, and that's number 9, Inherent Powers. And this one is a just a really nicely bred gelded son of Hootenanny, debuting with 11 workouts showing in preparation for this first performance. And of course, Hootenanny won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, I believe, or Breeders' Cup Turf. Paco Lopez will handle that half of the uncoupled entry. And then I used the number 4 horse in here, and that's Roman Poet, who's a gelded son of Carpe Diem, debuting for Gilberto Zerpa. Got a half-mile bullet workout showing in preparation for the debut. The barn is pretty sharp with their freshman runners, about 18%. I would imagine most of that is on the dirt, but here's a good turf course, and you're getting our leading rider, Edgar Zayas, in the saddle. So 10, 9, and 4, and 10 very early in the wagering, taking the money. Let's go to race number 2 this afternoon, and it's a 7-furlong claimer. These are fillies and mares 4 and up who have not won a race since November 21st, $8,000. And the horse that's currently 1, 2, 3 is big favorite in the early daily double, or second big favorite in the double, is the 4 Witch Hunter, who's changing barns going to the Peter Walder barn. But we're going to go back and show you this horse's performance last time out. We're going to pick it up from the 8th pole home. Now, this was going longer, but look at those early fractions. You're going to see this horse, 23.50, 46.27. That is motoring, and gets run down by a repeat winner called Lady Fiorella, who's the common thread going through this race. So fast fractions last time out, and just couldn't hold on. So, I just think this horse, cuts back to 7 furlongs is going to be key for a barn that's 24% with the turnback move. So certainly Witch Hunter, a major player on the turnback today. She takes heart, 5 for 11 money at the distance, turns back, and proving no match for that common thread, as I mentioned, Lady Fiorella, when they hooked up. Now, that was back on May 6th. For Mauricio Fuentes is the trainer, and he keeps it a family affair. He's got an apprentice, Mario Fuentes, in the saddle, the 7-pound apprentice. Now, if you like Peter Walder, like in the first race, if you like Wesley Ward, he's got 2 in here, too. And the other one is Special Counsel, and this one is back in the U.S. after returning from an extended layoff to finish at track to pace 4th. That was against those $20,000 claimers, and that was going 6.5 furlongs in Puerto Rico. Miguel Vasquez will try and rekindle this mare's horse-for-course status. This horse always ran well here at Gulfstream Park. 12 races on this track with 6 wins, so that's a 50% win average, and that is the number 1 Special Counsel, second on the morning line behind the other Peter Walder, Witch Hunter. So a small field, but a very interesting one. Going back going to the third race today, and this is a nice race, 7 furlong starter allowance, 4-year-olds and up, started for $16,000 or less, and we got a really nice horse in here, and one of my favorite horses that runs around here. And that is the 5, well-defined. He's going to try and make it 2 in a row and 5th victory from 6 starts this year. We're going to go back and show you this horse's performance. And this is in the big drama. And just a very impressive performance. There's well-defined. Just draws off for Kathleen O'Connell and wins so impressive. And this rejuvenated horse has just been running so great. As I mentioned, just having a fantastic year. He fought for the lead in this race, but in the stretch, he just proved much the best. So wheeling back for Kathleen with MSC Alejandro Jaramillo in the saddle today, and that is a major player here off that performance last time out. Well, like I said, one of my favorite horses around here, always runs well. The inside horse, the 1 miles ahead, stretching out to this distance of 7 furlongs after following that second place finish behind Well Defined. That was in that 16 starter allowance. Now, that was 2 starts back. Comes back, has a little bit of trouble at the start, against those 62,500 optional claimers, going 6 furlongs last time out. He was very impressive to win after the troubled start. Eddie Plesa Jr. is 23%. Winning consecutive races. So miles ahead, Well Defined, going to hook up again, but they're going to do it at 7 furlongs today. And then the 4, Honolulu Express, is moving to the Gilberto Zerpa bond after the claim. Split a pair of next out winners last time out when finishing second, beating the neck against those 12-5 state-bred optional claimers going a mile. It was back during March. So the first place finisher and the third place finisher both came back to win their next starts, and this one was right in the middle. And Zerpa, he's 35% with new claims. He's got Edgar Zayas atop this previous winner at the 7 furlong distance. One of the angles that I like, that horses have run well at 7 furlongs. I give them an extra little check, to when they run again at this 7 furlong distance, that in-between distance. So 5, 1, and number 4, Well Defined. Can't wait to see that horse run again. So let's take a short break. We'll come back, and you know what? I'll show you my Rainbow 6 ticket because it starts in race 4 this afternoon.
In the 2 path. Ground on first inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today, a couple of minutes afternoon, and fourth race this afternoon is going to be a 5 furlong turf sprint. It's an allowance for 4-year-olds and up who started for $16,000 or less. So a pretty nice race to kick off the Rainbow 6. We did have a couple of scratches of the 1 and the number 8, and let's check out my ticket. $43.20. Went 3 deep in here. I think it's a pretty wide open affair. I used Fully Loaded, What's Inside, and Tropic Cat. I'm going to show you Fully Loaded and What's Inside's last race in a couple of moments. In race number 5, just 2 deep with Raspberry Ballet and Tis Possible Dear. I wanted to use Time to 2-step, but my ticket would have been too much for me to handle today. I like this 43.20. Race 6, Miss Big Spring and Rain. And then in race number 7, 2 deep again. I like Cats a Dream. I had to take the overland route last time out. Twilight I used, and I got lots of coverage in the last 2 races. A little bit of a long shot in the last with Unmarked Money, Victor Barboza, Ed's Blinkers, and Paco Lopez. So going back to this 4th race. Now, Fully Loaded and What's Inside. First of all, Fully Loaded is now in the Georgina Baxter barn. A 5-year-old try and make it 2 in a row. I just thought a game score at this level in distance. So we're going to go back and show you What's Inside was also in that race, was the number 1. So there you're going to see the number 5, Fully Loaded, and What's Inside. Now, Fully Loaded is going to go up and just run exceptionally well in this particular race. And I thought ran well. It looked like this horse was getting challenged all along. And then you see the inside. There's What's Inside, tipping between the horses there. And it looks like, everybody's going to get the number 7 Fully Loaded in this race, and they just don't. And they don't. Excuse me. Fully Loaded finished 1-2 in that race this afternoon. So I thought it was a pretty good performance. What's Inside, as you saw, was wheeling back, gave Fully Loaded everything this horse could handle when he finished that game second behind him. 4, Jane Sabelli. Paco Lopez handling that rematch this afternoon. So fully loaded, changing barns. What's Inside was a game, thought it was going to win last time out. And the other horse I'm going to use in this race is Tropicat, who was a third behind Fully Loaded when they competed at this distance. Now, that was a couple of starts back, and beat him by a length and a half, 3 starts back. Renews the rivalry today for Ralph Nix. Got a stat on Ralph Nix. He's going to add blinkers on. Ralph Nix, blinkers on over the last couple of years. He's 8 for 30, 27%. 57% in money, and has that nice positive return of investment of $2.22. So you saw my ticket. I used all 3 because I think they all have a shot here in the Rainbow Six. Fully Loaded, What's Inside, and Tropicat. Race 5 this afternoon is with a late pick 5 is going to kick off. And this one is a mile allowance optional claimer for state-bred fillies and mares. 3-year-olds and up, the optional tag is $12,500. And we have 6 in the field. And as I mentioned, I like the chances of Raspberry Ballet today, who's sitting on a winning performance, I believe, after making a 3-wide bid to get the lead in that race before weakening to finish third at this level and distance. For Mike Lerman, Paco Lopez named to ride this afternoon. So Raspberry Ballet, but going to have to run well to beat the number 2, Tis Possible Dear, who drops back to this level after stepping off the claim last time out for Marcial Navarro and finishing a duel for the lead third against those 20 starter optional claimers. That was going 7/8 of a mile last time out. Edgar Zayas handles. This is a 7-time local winner. Paco's going to handle Raspberry Ballet, so Edgar's going to jump on 2. 'Tis Possible Dear. And then the inside, the number 1, Time to Two-Step. And I was talking about my Rainbow Six ticket. Here's another one that I wanted to use on the ticket, but wanted to keep it affordable for me. And Time to Two-Step is wheeling back at the stalking the pace and tiring that day. Finished 5th behind Raspberry Ballet, going a mile last time out. But it's Peter Walder, Sammy Camacho, inside post. I thought maybe this horse can run well, but I think the race goes through Raspberry Ballet. Race number 6 this afternoon is a 5.5 furlong sprint. These are claiming fillies, 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and up who've never won 3 races in life. Do have a couple of scratches here in this first leg of our late pick 4. Scratch the 3. Scratch the number 6 horse in here. And I went, by the way, the 3 and the 6, that was the first choice and the second choice in the race. So they came out, so I had to go and reshuffle it around, and here's what I came up with. I went with the number 2, Miss Big Spring, who's turning back to this distance. You look, and this one tracked the pace and finished second to the scratched horse I was just talking about, Between Dreams, in their recent clash at 6 furlongs. I thought Between Dreams was absolutely the one to beat in this spot, but not going to run today. So I moved this one up. Apprentice Gadiel Martinez will be in the saddle. And now I think Rain has a really big shot, and that's the number 7 from Peter Walder. This one turning back to 5.5 furlongs after pressing the pace and fading to finish 4th. Against similar going a mile. Peter Walder is really good with the turn back move, about 24, 25%. He's got a rider I really like, Miguel Vasquez, in the saddle. Then the number 8 horse in here, Classy Beast, who I find interesting, was going to cut back to a distance where she just crushed 6,252 lifetime claimers. She won that race by 8 lengths, and that was going at 5.5 furlongs. Now you look, she dueled and she faded last time out, but that was going a mile. So Emercio Jaramillo is going to ride for Francisco D'Angelo, and I just think with this horse turning back, maybe a horse you can put on your Try and Super, Miss Big Spring and Rain, 1-2 on my Rainbow Six ticket for me this afternoon. Race number 7 today is a 1-mile turf claimer, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 in life, 35 down to $25,000. And I really like the chances of Cat's a Dream today. And we're going to go back and show you this horse's last race. Also, Twilight, the number 9 today, was in that race, was the 7 horse. And now you're going to see Twilight, sort of just going and having a nice trip here, turning for home, getting the lead. But you look at Cats, the number 3 on the outside. You're certainly taking the overland route and how to just, go wide and runs very well. You're going to see them coming down to the finish line. And you'll see they both finished 2nd and 3rd in here. But I just thought Cat's a Dream had the much tougher trip that afternoon and just comes flying in the stretch and gets up, and they end up finishing Cat's a Dream 2nd and Twilight 3rd. And Cat's a Dream, that was at a mile and a 16th. You saw how wide the horse was, beating a half length. That was going a mile and a 16th for Ralph Nix. Chantal Sutherland will be in the saddle this afternoon. Twilight Cutting back to the 8, you saw him. He dueled through the stretch, and he was game to hold on to finish second in front of that late closing Cats of Dreams. So a nice rematch this afternoon. And veteran trainer Luis Olivares has Miguel Vasquez in the saddle today. Another horse you got to give a serious look to is on its why, because this one is moving to the Safi Joseph Jr. barn after the claim and dropping to the 35 level in the first start since finishing a trouble 6th. That was a $50,000 claimer going a mile here in February. The barn, you know how good they are. They're good with everything. They're a leading trainer here by many. Like, I think 26 wins over the next one below them has 10 or 11. So Edgar Zayas handling the return to action, and you just watch the board all day long when Safi Joseph Jr. horse is running. Everybody's usually keyed right into it, and you can watch those odds go up and down. I don't know what this one is on the line. You know, this one is actually third choice, and that's, I think, a perfect spot for this horse. I just like the fact that Cats of Dream had a tougher trip than both Twilight and On a Tour last time out. 8th race this afternoon is a 1 mile allowance optional claimer for 3-year-olds, or the optional claiming price of $75,000. So this is the feature race of the afternoon, and everybody's going to be betting Hercules in here, and rightly so. I'm going to try and beat this horse just a little bit with Texas Basin, who's stretching out to the 1 mile. First race responded last time to both the addition of Lasix and blinkers with that $50,000 starter optional claiming victory going 3/4 of a mile. Was up at Aqueduct. Now it's during March. I just think that George Weaver, Miguel Vasquez handling the stretch out. Maybe this horse can stop the unbelievable run by number 3, Hercules, who's going for his 4th consecutive victory at the distance after prompting the pace and holding on gamely to defeat those state-bred allowance runners by a neck last time out. This Arundel homebred has never been better. You don't need me to tell you that. All you got to do is look at this horse's recent past performance, and Hercules certainly has come up strong in those races, going for 4 in a row. And then number 7, 12-Volt Man. As I was mentioning in the last race, this one is stepping up and stretching out after making a 5-wide charge to win his 6-furlong career debut for a leading trainer, Safi Joseph Jr. Paco Lopez atop this gelded Son of Violence. Bred to love this 1 mile distance, being a Son of Violence. You look back and say, wait, this is a pretty low buyer figure for that debut victory. But here's the story. It is Safi Joseph Jr., so if you're not totally tuned into the buyer figures, maybe this horse can run well, and maybe that was just a day that the track came up a little slow, and thus the lower buyer figure in there. But, you know, it's hard to leave a Safi Joseph Jr. horse that came out and won at first asking and going to try and do it again. So we'll see how that plays out. Race number 9 this afternoon, about 7½ furlongs on the turf. Maiden claimants, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $12,500. And in race number 9, I have my little bit of a long shot in here. I'm going to see what this horse is on the morning line. Hold on there 1 second. Well, there's a couple of scratches. You know, 6-1 on the morning line. That's unmarked money. But we did have the scratch of the 3 and 5 and all the altos in there. Unmarked money has her claiming tag carved in half, which I like. After she returned from the layoff to finish that sort of like a sightseeing trip, she was 7th against those 25 maidens, going 7½ furlongs on the turf. Victor Barboza is going to add blinkers, which I like, and Paco Lopez for this assignment. So taking a little bit of a shot with this horse, but I think with the scratches in front of this horse now and dealing with that 10-horse field, unmarked money, I'm hoping I get close to 5 or 6 to 1, because last race wasn't that pretty. Number 1, Uptown Queen, is dropping to this level of $12,500. First start since hitting the board in 1 of 2 turf outings against those 20 maidens before going to the sidelines in January. David Forks finds an ideal spot for this daughter of big drama to make a return, because there's no world beaters in this particular race. Then the outside horse, number 12, Bell's Kingdom, with the scratch at a 3 and 5, going to break from a much improved post at this about 7½ furlong distance. 10 is much better than number 12. And this one changing barns, going to the Jose Orsino barn after the claim, dropping to this level after going up, setting the pace. Didn't run badly. So, you know, finished 5th against 16 maidens, going a mile into 16. So getting a little better post position. They're very tough with that about 7½ furlongs. Got to get position early on, but this one has got that speed, tactical speed, to get position early on and maybe carve out a really nice trip this afternoon. Victor LeBron will be in the saddle. So that is how I see the 9 races on today's card. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I will show you, or let's go through our lightning round.
And here comes point of entry.
Point of entry's taking the lead.
Point of entry wins.
Plaku Parfait is finishing hard along the inside. Plaku Parfait takes out the Derby.
And welcome back to Gulfstream today. And as we said, we'll get into our lightning round this afternoon. And just is going to start it off with Flavin Pratt, expected to ride. I found this very interesting. Expected to ride Hot Rod Charlie over Preakness winner Rombauer in the Grade 1 Belmont. Now, he ran third with this horse in the Kentucky Derby. I'm talking Hot Rod Charlie. So maybe you can understand the jump. It just seems, I don't know how many times you see this. A horse gets off a mount where he won the Grade 1 Preakness Stakes to ride the Belmont, but he has ridden this horse in the past. He won the Louisiana Derby with Hot Rod Charlie, as I mentioned, was third in the Kentucky Derby, so he's going back on. Just thought that was interesting play by the connections of Hot Rod Charlie, and of course, Flavin making that move, which I just found interesting. Our old buddy, Jason Beam, you called the races here for us at Gulfstream Park West, and a really nice guy. He's got the Beamy Awards, of course. He was now announced track announcer at Tampa Bay Downs, so he will be joining us here in the Sunshine State, and he's a great guy and a good race caller. So Tampa Bay Downs, good to have him. He did an excellent job when he was calling the races at Gulfstream Park, which is not easy. You sort of got to call outside of a best way to extend it, three things piled on each other. I don't know how he or Pete ever called the races over there, but that's a moot point. That place is gone now. So Jason Beam, congratulations. And then we got a really nice race on Saturday, and Noble Drama is going to be in that stake, and multiple stakes winner, and that's the name's Jimmy on Saturday. And there you see the field, and Noble Drama, of course, 7-5 on the board. And as I mentioned, just a multiple stakes winner. Very excited to see this horse come back and run. Actually going to show you performance of this horse when this horse ran back in 2020 in the Wildcat. And the reason I picked this race out, you're going to see she was hounded early and then drew off. What I liked about it is the distance of the name's Jimmy race on Saturday, so on tomorrow actually. So Noble Drama, just one of my favorite horses. Even money that day. Gardner and Ty was a pretty good horse, trying to catch it, but not good enough with MSC El Jaramillo in the saddle this afternoon. So a good race on Saturday. Actually got two stakes races on Saturday, but certainly glad to see Noble Drama coming back for David Forks. Of course, it's going to be an exciting day of racing, but that is Saturday. We got to deal with today, as I mentioned. We got $150,000 in the Rainbow 6 pool, and we also have the Stronach 5 kicking off a little later on. And we got races from all the Stronach tracks in there, including Gulfstream Park, which will be leg B in the sequence. So we're going to take a little break, turn it over to Mr. Pete Aiello, and I'll be back here throughout the afternoon trying to give you some useful insights.